Hey y'all, it's Kermeshea and it's time for Who Told You That? Hey everybody, so on today's Who Told You That, I'm filming myself. Got myself on the back. But we're going to talk about a subject that is not really along the lines of what I thought Who Told You That would be, but I've been getting a lot of emails from people asking me to address this on various levels. So hopefully by the time we're finished with this, it'll shed a little bit of light regarding your current financial situation. We're going to talk today about giving and the concept of sowing a seed for your need. So the overriding theme of the emails that I'm getting is that people are feeling the brunt of an embattled economy and job loss and not having the over and above to give when their pastor gets up and proclaims that there's a special blessing for everybody who gives a seed, and they feel like they're missing out on that blessing if they don't have that particular dollar amount to give. So some of you, of course, are frustrated, feeling like, for various reasons. So today is really about just giving you the hope from the scripture. Of course, you know that Who Told You That's are supposed to be short, and it's just my viewpoint based in scripture. I know I promised that they'd be less than 2 minutes, but I think this one is going to be a little bit longer than that. But I'm going to talk really quickly. I'm going to give scripture reference, and then the text from the actual scripture will appear on the screen. So the very first thing that I want to remind everyone of, and is that is important for me to get out. And if you don't get anything else out of what I say today, if you decide that you're going to turn me off midway through, hopefully this will resonate in your heart and mind and stick with you. You're giving from a willing heart during the times of plenty. Is your seed already sown? So your faith right now during this trial and turbulent period should be in a place of expectancy. Genesis 8:22 says that for as long as the earth endures, there will be seed time and harvest time. So right now you should be in a place of expecting of the harvest for the seeds that you've already sown. Hebrews 6:10 and 12 says, for God has not forgotten your labor of love. Through your following, you receive the promise. So that consistent labor and work that you did as unto the Lord, he's not forgotten about that. And through salvation alone, the promise of the blessing of Abraham already rests on your life. Galatians 3:13 through 18 says, Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law, that we might receive the promise of the blessing of Abraham through faith. And so in Deuteronomy chapter 28, it outlines the blessing and the curse of Abraham, the blessing, a part of which includes a bountiful harvest. So once you understand the full meaning that the blessing of Abraham was promised to you and already received by you through salvation, then hopefully you will get the courage to stop chasing the $100 line, the $50 offering line, the $20 offering line in an attempt to secure your next blessing. And I know from your emails that there seems to be this movement where what you're hearing is that the recession is over and in your pastor or minister's life, and it can become true in your life if you give a seed to them, so that the blessing that's on his life will then become transferred to your life. And the reality of that is that the blessing is already on your life, and it's already yours right now today without you having sown that seed into his life. So what you're giving is, it should be a matter of your heart. Your harvest is received by faith, and your faith is partnered with your work. You're giving as a matter of your heart. Matthew 12:35 says, a good man out of the treasure of his heart bringeth forth good things. So your giving should not be forced. It shouldn't be something that's emotionally triggered. It should be from a space of willingness. And God honors the gifts that we give from our heart. So in 2 Corinthians chapter 9 and 7, as a man purposeth in his heart, so let him give. Your giving should be cheerful, not from a place of necessity. So even the concept of sowing a seed for your need is the root of the word necessity. So it goes against what we've scripturally been mandated to do in our giving, which is to give a willing heart, not grudgingly and not out of necessity. Luke 6:38 says, give and it shall be given unto you, with bonus and blessing. So what you should expect from your giving is bonus, blessing. Your generosity is going to beget or bring back generosity back into your own life. There is a promise in Philippians 4:19, but my God shall supply all of your needs. That's yours without you even having to do anything. It is yours simply because you are a child of God. You should thank God for that provision and trust wholeheartedly in it to come to pass in your own life. What I believe your prayer should be concerning your finances is that God will bless the work of your hands in accordance with Genesis 39:23 and Psalm 1:3. Everything you set your hand to do prospers. 3 John 1:2 says, beloved, I wish above all things that you would prosper and be in good health. That's God's desire for you. So it should be good news to you. It should resonate in your heart and mind that God's desire for you is that all of your need be supplied, that you prosper in life. Paul says that it is good to know him, but it is even better that he knows us. So, and you know, when we talk about prosperity in life, my belief is that prosperity in life is not limited to material wealth. It is living abundantly where your relationships are blessed, where the desires of your heart are blessed, where you know your work is blessed. When you come in and when you leave out of your house, you're walking in and out of a blessed environment. There's not contentious relationships in your life. So when you get a concept of that type of life, full life prosperity, and then grab hold to that principle for your life, then hopefully that will resonate in your heart and mind that everything that you need, God has already provided for you. So I know some of you are saying, Kermeshea, yeah, I get what you're saying, and I hear you talking, but I'm sowed these seeds, I've given, and I'm just not seeing the results. And my initial reaction to that is, are you sure? Let me just share something from my own life experience that I had to realize. So, you know, when you think about, like, you had a need in your life and you get like either an increase on your job or a card in the mail with money in it, or somebody gives you money in your hand, or, you know, an unexpected check in the mail. And I would pay my tithe on that and then sit in the service, and the pastor would say, hey, you know, the church needs this, that, or the other. We need you to push today and give something extra. And so then I'd give the extra because I had it, with the expectation that God would supply again, just like he did before. And God had already given me the provision. It was out of my want to please, maybe, that I was given the provision back again in expectation that it would be immediately restored. So just think about that. And then I want you to think about where you're giving. Where you sow your seed is critical to how you receive your harvest. And so think about this. If you are giving to a ministry that you're not seeing the fruit of your gifts, is the money being used for what the pastor says that it's going to be used for? Or are you in a ministry where every 6 months the same offering is being taken up? They need extra for the same thing all over again. And then if you recognize that pattern, then you may need to make some considerations about whether or not you are sowing into good ground. Your seed cannot spring forth when it's sown on rocky ground. And then I want you to take into consideration, what are you doing personally to impact, put your faith into action with what you're believing God for? Are you doing anything to open new channels of income for yourself? You know, that could be through continuing education, networking, whatever. But what are you doing? Are you just sitting back waiting for it to happen? Or are you actually putting some action behind making sure that you have the return on the gifts that you've sown? So what I don't want you to do is condemn yourself. If your unemployment check and your regular paycheck or whatever type of income you're getting every month is just enough to meet your need, don't condemn yourself because you don't have that over and above to give. You are not going to be cursed with a curse because you don't have the over and above to give. And secondly, you're not spiritually immature because you don't have, your faith hasn't yet merged with your reality and you don't have the over and above to give. The second thing I want you to do is to is to stop giving. Giving is God's plan for us to receive back the blessing into our life. And I'm not simply speaking of monetary giving. I'm just talking about giving of your time, giving of your efforts, giving of yourself. Volunteer somewhere. If you don't have the monetary gift to give, you can give into somebody's life just by giving an encouraging word to someone who needs it today. But volunteerism, you can go help out at a women's shelter, or go read and mentor to some children, or donate to the recent fire victims relief to help clean up those efforts here in the state of Texas. And the next thing, that I know that there are ministers out there who are abusing the message of sowing and reaping. It happens on any platform where people abuse the message, but I don't want you to allow that to cause you to reject the truth of the scripture. What man is doing is not necessarily by the hand of God. So don't allow the abuse by man to cause you to reject the plan that God has outlined for your life. And then lastly, and this may be a little comical to some, it may be a little bit offensive to some, but you cannot treat the offering bucket or the offering time at church like it is your own personal slot machine where you're going to pull the lever and 3 sevens will line up and all of a sudden the windows of heaven blessing is going to pour down on you. We just talked about there being seed time and there's harvest time. So you have to do what in that seed time and harvest time, without some type of supernatural intervention, money is not just going to fall down from heaven on you. So you cannot make rash financial decisions, destructive financial decisions, and then think that, as long as I can make it to church and they teach a message on seed, faith, giving, and I can follow the next person that's talking about getting in the $50 line, the $20 line, the $100 line, then I can re-up and my finances will be back on track. Don't do that. Don't use a manipulation of the principle of sowing and reaping, thinking that it's going to cause you to maintain financial stability. You have to be wise over what God has provided to you. And then in closing, I just want you to remember Galatians 6:9, which says that, and let us not be weary in well-doing, because in due season we will reap if we faint not. That is encouragement to you that your gifts, God recognizes them. Your life, your heart, what you're doing to bless others, God sees that. And if you just hold on, don't give up. There is a reciprocal law of giving. It will come back to you in the same manner that you give it out. So hold fast to that with expected, intentional expectation that you are going to triumph, that victory is yours. And I know that today I'm probably going to ruffle a bit of the prosperity feathers, but that's okay. I'm a big girl. I can handle it. My wish for you is that you understand that what God's plan for you is what you need to follow, and not what man has imparted in you to twist the scripture. I want you to live a life that is based on scripture, and then study it for yourself so that it resonates within your heart and your spirit, and you're able to apply that to your life because you see God work for yourself, for you. So this has been my Better Life message for the day. I know it's a little long. It's been almost 12 minutes. I apologize for that. But I do thank you for listening. And as always, I welcome your feedback. The discussion is open. Please bring it. Thank you so much for your time again, and have